Hey everyone, this is going to be another edition of Fansview Fridays. This is a big one. We are tackling on not only a subathon, this is our second subathon of the channel, we are also tackling on Anime Expo 2002. This is a huge report, and you know what? Today is also my birthday, August 8th. And I thought, let me talk about the convention where I celebrated my birthday at, and that was Anime Expo 2002. This is going to be a longer edition of Fansview Fridays because this is when Kevin was starting to take more photos of cosplayers. So we're going to just get through as much as we can. I have a ton of tea ready to go. And yeah, let's just see what happens. But first, let me just drop a quick word from our sponsors, me. Don't forget to also buy my book, The Fangirl Diaries. Link in the description. So this is all about this time period, and you also get a glimpse of what my Anime Expo 2002 was totally like. Hang on one second. All right. So yeah, that's my book. And then also, I will be a guest at KenyobiCon later this month for their virtual event. So look forward to that because, I've never been a virtual guest of honor as a VTuber, and this is really exciting too. So definitely support KenyobiCon. I'll be talking about Sailor Moon, this and that, and I'm looking forward to that. Hey, we got Professor Rams and Comey in the chat. Welcome, welcome. Ready to have a blast from the past? Let's dive right into it. And I got a ton of tea. All right, I was there for this Wednesday. All right, of Wednesday arrival uncovered familiar faces in Long Beach. All right, so Wednesday was registration day. Yes, Wednesday arrivals on the Thursday page because lots of people showed up on the day before the start of the convention. Jerry Chu. Oh my god, look at that do on Jerry Chu. A Bandai Entertainment had a secret anime car outside the convention center. Ooh, I wonder what that car could be. Melissa Quinn of Fairy Fingers. We just followed each other on Instagram. Shout out to you, Melissa Quinn. Love you, and you are like my OG cosplay senpai. Melissa Quinn of Fairy Fingers had secret costumes to display. Matt Greenfield. Okay, he is giving Anteater vibes in that polo shirt. Matt Greenfield of ADV Films had a supply of new type shirts. If I ever have a pet anteater, I will name him Matt Greenfield. These fans were ready for fun one day before the show. Oh, this is like old school Gyaru. Like Gyaru of the 2022. I love it. This was 1/3 of the room for the registration line. Convention volunteers expected to fill it to overflowing on Thursday morning. Long Beach has grown because of the publicity from two championship auto racing teams' street race. 2 months after the race, part of the wall and fence remained. I wonder if the next best mobile gotcha game from Cygames is going to be Race Car Girls. And the apex markings of a for the Pine Avenue turn outside of the convention center are left on the street. Lionel Lum, I know this guy, was exaggerating by not only by much, he had spent 2 days getting ready for the convention. This familiar costumer had traveled to California for the sun and nearly got too much on the beach. I also know you too. Actor Akira Kamiya made an early arrival along with Maria Kawamura and members of his voice acting school, rehearsing for an opening ceremony's appearance the next day. I love this guy, Akira Kamiya. If you ever take one of his workshops, it was a lot of fun when I took one of his voice acting workshops. I know him as Professor Tomo. Oh, I remember getting this comic. 1 month earlier at Project Acon, this page had seen the first prototype for Raijin Comics. The translated manga anthology is scheduled for a fall debut. A second prototype was included with a packet of material for Anime Expo fans. And some customers were out in surprisingly large numbers and surprising high quality on the day before Anime Expo began. how many people in costume could be expected for the entire 4-day show? I was in costume. I was cosplaying as Yumiko Reedman. Costumers were on the day the convention started. We're going to go at a bit faster pace as we're going through these costumes, so I probably won't do much commentary. But yeah, if you see someone you know, a series you're familiar with it, shout it out in the chat. Shout it out in the comments. Because we are going back in time, baby. Yeah, I totally love this Gyaru squad here. It's just like Gyaru of like the O2. Yep, I know these folks too. That is not Geki, but he is from Britain. Yeah, so we're gonna also have encounter like quite a bit of broken links here, because again, this is from webarchive.org. It's not a perfect replication of Kevin's website. Oh, Lyskois. But this will have to do because we want to preserve as much of convention and fandom history as much as we can here with Fansview Fridays. Thursday morning saw a huge collection of costumers. All right. Yeah, we got like over 20 pages of this. Like we're totally out of the 10, long gone are the days of like 10-page photo pages. So again, we're going to go through these as much as we can. This would be considered vintage Trigun cosplay. Hey Glitch, how are you? Yes, we are doing this for history. We are doing this for the books. Oh my god, we got Digimon Angelic Lair, Evangelion right there. And by the way, if you attend Anime Los Angeles, this is where Anime Los Angeles is located now at the Long Beach Convention Center. So these backgrounds might look a little familiar to you. You might be saying, what's all these fandoms from the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s doing at Anime Los Angeles? You might see me here for opening ceremonies because I did attempt to try to get to opening ceremonies. Back when like Tetsuo cosplay was like the go-to closet cosplay. Wife beater, jeans, and like, hey, red cloth. Okay, we're scrolling down. We got Nabishin. I might know this Nabishin cosplayer. I like how we go from like all these East Coast, Mid-Atlantic conventions and to just going over here and be like, yeah, I know this person. I know that person, you know? Or like, yeah, that fandom really takes me back. And Glitch be like, it's like Choto a minute. Or should I just try to imitate your Mr. H voice to be like, it's like Choto a minute. No, I can't do it. I sound like Harrison Ford anytime I try to imitate your character on your YouTube show. Oh yeah, we got Shampoo from Ranma. Yeah, who knows? One of these broken image links might be my photo of me as Ava Friedel. And this is like my first version of Ava Friedel. It was commissioned by a friend of my mom's. It wasn't the best Ava Friedel because I kept being compared to another cosplayer at the convention, and that really hurt me because my friends were like, "Oh, she had the better costume." Like, can't both of us like the character equally, you know? Like neither of us had like beef towards each other for like cosplaying as the same character, but people were just trying to pit the two of us against us. And I never quite understood that. Yeah, once we see a trend of a lot of broken images, kind of like this one, we're going to just move on to the next section for Thursday. All right, Rams in the chat. Yeah, fandom was a weird place at the time. I think we've learned better over the years. I hope. Okay, looks like in the thumbnail we got some dead or alive going on. The cosplay numbers increased on Thursday afternoon. I think like by this time I was already in the dealer's hall. There's Ray Ayanami and Gendo. I also gotta love like some of the casual outfits. Like earlier for like the Thursday costumes, we saw some gyaru, and just kind of seeing people in the background wearing the clothing of it at the time. Like some of these series fell into obscurity that I don't know like them off the top of my head. Of course, I know this one. It's Final Fantasy X. I had a friend at my birthday at this con. Oh my goodness, is this like vintage JoJo? It is vintage JoJo. What a wild ride this is. Vintage JoJo. The two characters from King of Fighters I've always wanted to cosplay as, but I've never actually played the game because I always like their aesthetic. One day I will play that game. We would be knee deep in Stone Ocean. Yes. I want to say this is Pia Kara because I recognize the foofy dresses. We were kind of speed running through the photos because I knew this would be like the longest part. I was like, oh no, broken images. Let's try a few more pages. If there's still more broken images, we're going to move on. Okay, yeah, let's move on. Yeah, that's super bonus points. JoJo wasn't a huge thing in America at the time. Yeah, I remember cosplaying from JoJo's Bizarre Adventures at Fanime a few years later during in '07. Yeah, let's hide my Mariah cosplay. That doesn't exist. Here's here's what was popular and notable on the convention's first day. All right. In the chat we have, yeah, I remember Hirohiko Araki coming to Anime Expo one year, and he lamented no one knew who he was. That's gonna be the next year, Rams. Remember the 2001 promise at Anime Expo of an English language version of the famed New Type anime magazine? 1 year later, the promise was already to be fulfilled, but not only by the company that made the promise. AD Vision, known as the Dublin distributor of anime, picked up the project from the original company. At Anime Expo in 2002, ADV had thousands of copies of their prototype issue, and fans stormed their convention center booth to get the samples. The Texas company had to go to Canada to find a North American printer which could turn out a magazine with the same look and print quality as the Japanese original. I still have this issue of New Type. It's somewhere in my storage. This group of Harley riders must have been amused to see that they weren't the most unusual sight in Long Beach on the holiday weekend. There, massed in the front of the Terrace Theater, were thousands of fans, many of them in costume, waiting in mercifully mild temperatures for the scheduled 10 a.m. start of the opening ceremonies, which actually began at 11 a.m. Yeah, that's very on brand for AX. Ah, yes, the Hachiroku. I remember this. Real motorheads would have gone around the corner to the deck outside of the Long Beach Convention Center for the Tokyo Pop display, featuring a replica of the main car from the Initial D street racing anime, which Tokyo Pop will release in English. Anime fans went to the Tokyo Pop display for the car, one of the most popular non-cosplay photo subjects of the weekend. They also went to the booth for the huge Tokyo Pop bags. Yeah, glitch in the chat. Be like, I had a few New Type. I love to sample DVDs. Yes, I remember to sample DVDs. And yeah, this is Tokyo Pop's push for Initial D, where they plays Para Para with new metal. The less said about that, the better. Two singers at the opening ceremonies, Para Para performer Yoki Shida, had the crowd cheering her remix of popular anime themes, and Maria Kawamura created a sensation just as at Katsucon 5 months earlier, when she recreated her Naga laugh from the Slayers. Do I recognize this area? Probably not. Around the same time, the guests of honor were being introduced at opening ceremonies. Gunfire broke out at the Los Angeles International Airport while Anime Expo staff kept close watch on the situation, in which 3 people died. This was the only impact it had on the rest of the convention. People watched TV coverage in the hotel's bar. The convention and its events continued unchanged by the real world. I do remember hearing about that. And here is a bonus look of the 4th of July fireworks show at Long Beach. Yeah, a friend of mine, we were just kind of like snuggling and watching the fireworks just go off like this. Yeah, I remember watching the fireworks. And we just stepped outside to that little bridge thing over the Rainbow Lagoon to just go check out the fireworks outside. Hey, just look at all these sparkly sparkles. Yeah, normally nowadays I don't really go out and watch the fireworks during AX, but this is just really nice to just watch with friends. Mamiko Noto spoke about her voice acting career. All right, finally a panel we can yap about. Actor Mamiko Noto looks and speaks like a cute young Japanese woman, and her anime voice roles seem to be cute young women. Among them, Yoshiko Yamada in the new Tenchi Muyo GXP series and Rin in Inuyasha, but she looks at herself in a different way than others. It's fun to be a young and cute character. It's just so fascinating to be cute, which I don't think I am. And her most difficult roles are those where she has to create a person different from her own nature. An aggressive or outgoing character, that's a challenge, she said. So why did Noto become an actor? Credit Tatsuya Nakadami, who appeared in Akira Kurosawa's movies. I went to see him act on stage, and that inspired me. This that that this was what I wanted to do. It was real interesting for me. I wanted to experience what it was like to be a different person. After high school, Noto went to an acting school, and then was fortunate enough to get the roles in anime productions, which is an automatic in a crowded and competitive field. Noto had to start her career by auditioning for roles, but in recent productions, the anime companies have asked for her when they're casting roles. Her secret in getting the voices just right for her roles is to look at the character designs as much as the scripts, to figure how the characters should sound. If voice actors in Japan seem to be bigger stars than those in the US, she thinks that's because there are more animated shows and more actors to draw attention from fans. Check out some of the cosplay groups from Thursday. Okay, we got the Gyaru squad over here. We got some Rama folks over here. Final Fantasy, especially 10, but this is 8, was really huge at the time. Yeah, let's see. The incomplete pages makes me glad my pics in my photo bucket are still there. Question, are you paying for photo bucket? Because I tried logging back into my photo bucket account, and yeah, they want me to pay like $5 a month to maintain my account. Wow, I love how this is like a random group of just random series all just stuck together. Like you have Yuki, you got Gundam, you got Kyo, you got King of Fighters. I love this crossover. I'm glad I also held on to like my physical photos too. You have a lot of folks from Team Rocket over here. Got Fruits Basket, Dead or Alive. Ramen and Rice. I wonder what happened to them. Okay, yeah. Unfortunately, yes, I pay. I pay to download everything as. I plan to download everything as soon as I close it. Yeah, I might do that too because I save like a lot of my memes, in that dealio. This was part of the Seiramu, Yeah, this is part of the Seiramyu meetup, and there was also a panel too. In fact, I just met one of these cosplayers here. I won't point out who they are, but they're a librarian at my local library. You got some Sailor Moonness here. I love it. Okay, does that cover it? Yes, it does cover it for Thursday. All right, we tackled day 1 out of 4 of Anime Expo 2002. See, I remember Ramen and Rice. They were at Fanmei too. Yeah, I was really good friends with them, and then they went on to Yusei Musume, not to be confused with Uma Musume, but they just kind of like just sort of faded out of the system. Friday morning brought a fresh collection of costumers. All right, 32 pages. Let's see how much we can get through here. Again, if you recognize any of these folks, shout them out in the chat, shout them out in the comments. Oh my god, I remember Doremi. Doremi was like one of my comfort, like magical girl anime at the time. The world needs more Rayearth, and Rayearth, that new season, you gotta like have a start date, man. You gotta have like a release date. Because I want to support you, I want to support all the merch, I want to have Shoujo Isekai to become my entire personality. Yeah, I had a couple of friends cosplaying from Inuyasha during this era of AX. Yep, again, vintage Trigun cosplay. I know this guy. Like, I just always just like squee with glee. It's like, yeah, I know this person. And I don't want to I want to respect your privacy. Oh, check out this background right here. Over here, this is where, if you're familiar with anime Los Angeles, this mound of dirt, this is where the Ferris wheel, the movie theaters, and the shopping center are at. So yeah, this pile of dirt would eventually become something. Got Inuyasha over there. I love how this gal is like surrounded by Tokyo Pop bags. And we're going to try to get through as much as we can. Hopefully the photos load, and if they don't all load, we're going to move on to the next section. Yeah, by the amount of cosplayers from a certain series, we can tell what folks were in line for this year. Because a certain person from Japan was a guest of honor this year, and it was a huge deal. And of course, when you have a huge deal coming in from Japan, you get a lot of people roll up in cosplay to show support for their series. But we don't talk about that series as much anymore for obvious reasons. If you're not sure, well, there's a whole Google for that. Oh, I love this gal outfit. I just love how in the early 2000s there was a huge, you still saw like people costuming from like gal culture. Oh, we have Yumiko Reedman. I respect that. Out of 32. Okay, we have more cosplayers. I love how there's a Terra in the background. Oh, I think that's Terra, yes. I really should continue Final Fantasy VI. Okay, let's see, do we have any images loading up? If not, we're going to move on to the next one for Friday. Yep, early gal culture. Alright, I might be in this one. No, wait, but first, the number of costumers grew on Friday afternoon. Ah, yes, Digikarat. That was huge in the early 2000s. Also, cosplays with, like, huge wings. Oh, I remember seeing her. She was, like, wearing, like, all these, like, magazine covers. We also got Ragnarok Online. All these magazine articles to make up this dress. I love it. Oh, hey, we have Padme from Clone of the Attack. Okay, we have Mid-Valley Horn Freak. Makes me wonder if like, is he gonna show up in the new Trigun series? Because didn't they greenlight like a second season? Hey, I know these people. They look very familiar. Wow. Okay, thank you for announcing it to the world. Sad. The pics not loading could have been something important. Yeah, I know. I know that Anime Cosplay Paradise, they archive all the cosplay photos, but it's not the same kind of experience as you would be getting here. Because part of the joy of going through like Kevin's reports was just kind of scrolling through and just kind of like seeing someone or someone you might know. Got Gundam Epion. It's also interesting to see like how much the Hyatt lobby has changed. Yeah, Hentai Fangirl probably might would have been at like one of your panels in present day, present time. All right, let's try the next page. If there's none, oh, we do have some. I love how there's a great Sandman in the background if you look carefully. Okay, scrolling through. It's an awesome Kuja and a Sephiroth. So I'll say Sakura. Yeah, I had a friend of cosplay from Star Ocean from this time period. She didn't bring Star Ocean to this con because she was more focused in with like doing J Rock stuff. Aw, gotta run over there. Okay, we got Lena Inverse. I know the guy next to Lena Inverse here reminds me of Kung Fury. All right, we are at the half-hour mark. If you are in the chat right now, the Ko-Fi link is there. If you love what we do, donate to our Ko-Fi. Anything that goes in our Ko-Fi will go towards our convention expenses. This includes parking. This includes hotels, any expenses that might be associated with the convention. But these days, it's just parking, really. Yeah, Glitch, the fandom was very DIY back then. And yeah, Kung Fury, that's the main character from Orphan. Wow, I haven't heard that anime title in ages. Like Rams, when you visit, we're gonna be watching Uma Musume, Cinderella Gray. Oh man, check out this costume from Final Fantasy IX. I love it. We got Zex Marquis. I love that at least one of these pages are showing cosplayers. Oh, we got Shiva and we got Yuna in in her wedding outfit. I love the whole steal the wedding sequence of part 10. Yep, Wing in its peak era. All right, the exhibit hall was a testimony to the strength of the North American anime fandom. I had an interesting time trying to write about this in my book. So let's just take a look at the visuals here. 2002 was the year that Anime Expo made the big step toward a venue for the promotion of Japanese entertainment in for North American fans. The evidence was in the exhibit hall, Expo's term for the dealer's room, where Pioneer Entertainment had the first of several large exhibit booths intended to promote a product rather than sell it. Pioneer clearly wants its Hellsing horror title to be a breakout project, and they put a lot of expense into the Thrill Show booth. Across the aisle from the Pioneer booth was one of the three large spaces used to promote the upcoming Raijin Comics Manga Weekly, one of two promised titles that will bring authentic Japanese manga experience to English-speaking fans. We're told that the Raijin will premiere in October or November. Across the way, one of the most remarkable sights of the exhibit hall weekend came in the big twin-level AD Vision and Suncoast Motion Picture Company booth. From the top level, ADV and Suncoast workers were tossing shirts into the crowd. And fans were going wild at ground level, trying to catch the shirts. Some hardcore fans delight in criticizing ADV for the way they handle anime dubs. But when the company stages giveaways like this, the freebies disappear in a flash. The Bandai Entertainment booth, as big as elaborate as anything in the exhibit hall, was calm and sedate when compared to the ADV booth. There's as many visitors to Bandai's domain. Oh, look at these visitors in Bandai's domain. One of them is looking straight at the camera person in an Utena cosplay. I wonder why. And that was because Bandai set up their own movie theater with a projection screen nearly as large as the ones you'll find in your local multiplex. The beanbag chairs on the floor told fans that Bandai was welcome to have them stay for a while and watch their shows. Yeah, that person and their bestie here looked pretty awesome because, yeah, at the time, Sora was my ride or die convention buddy. And these days it's Geki who's my convention ride or die. And this year we combined the two where Sora meets Geki. That was fun. By comparison, older booth styles like the anime Ego looked small, but the company still had the presence and was trying to move their Macross DVD sets, now divided into 3 volumes. Most of the exhibit hall booths are like this, with smaller video companies and retailers making sales. This is the big promotional for the other English language manga book planned for fall 2002 release, and it gives a hint of what fans can expect from the North American version of the big Shonen Jump. That book will come from Viz, which has big plans for the English language Jump. Those plans weren't ready for the release at Anime Expo, but were being prepared for an announcement in a few weeks at Comic Con International in San Diego. I was there for that one. I'm sure that's how Anime Ego booths looks like as well in 2025. You're not wrong. We mentioned the Macross DVDs from Anime Ego. This big booth at the back of the hall bore the name of the Americanized version of the series. It showed that the Robotech brand name still had plenty of value and might have been a hint of a Saturday announcement of a new direction for the series. Near the Robotech Colossus was a quiet booth to promote the upcoming 4th Pokemon movie. The location of that booth and its size may have been a testimony to what happened to the brand name, since Pokemon was the hottest title in the land 3 years earlier. Alright, let's take a look at more costuming. And as we're going through costuming, I will be sipping through some tea. So if you recognize any of these folks here, the series, the fandoms, shout them out in the chat. We got some giant robo here. You don't see that series a lot these days. In the chat, Professor Ramsey's be like, new direction for Robotech. Must be a day that ends in Y. Yeah, I know, Gotchaman. You don't see that series like every day at a con. We're gonna try for a few more pages. Ah, Cactuar. I love it. I love cacti. Right? We've got Rei Ayanami. We've got some Final Fantasy goodness here. Yeah, this Titus guy looks like my buddy Will. One of the Sailor Animates. I thought this was Padme for a hot second. Yeah, I had friends who wanted me to cosplay as Lulu. This is also my buddy who also cosplays from Star Ocean in the Visual K outfit. I think their convention quote was, "I'm trying to recover my flesh." I think she ended up being hot glued into the costume. I think one of these days I need to do like Rose Bride Anthe. I know these people. I also know this cosplayer too. And this guy. Yeah, Angel Sanctuary was like a huge thing this year too. I tried watching Angel Sanctuary. I did not like it. I'm like the artwork looks pretty, but like, the story is like X from Timu. Yeah, EGL was really starting to make a splash during this time too. Got Tokyo Mew Mew. We got Mai Shiranui. Oh man, One Piece, but in 2020, 2002. This is what the fandom looked like, people. Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah, and some horrible depictions of stuff we take for granted. Yeah, this is like memory lane right here. There's like a part of me just kind of like just looking at the people in the background, like, I wonder if I recognize anyone in the background. All right, let's move forward with Friday. Yeah, let's see here. With pre time skip One Piece, we're firmly in the Alabaster Land arc, which, if I know where we are on the show, what's being called the live action show next. We heard from the team who created Read or Die. Anime Expo Read or Die, Friday, July 5th, 2002. Few settings for adventure and action would seem unlikely than a library. That's part of the charm of Read or Die, the anime series that turns books into weapons and librarians into crusading heroes. Read or Die went from an unknown among anime fans to the inspiration for costumers at Anime Expo 2002. I was one of them. The creative team behind the series made a convention appearance from left to right. Their character designer Masashi Ishihama, director Koji Matsunari, and screenwriter Hideyuki Kurata, who also wrote the Excel Saga anime. All three were pleasantly surprised to discover Read or Die fans in Southern California. I was surprised, said Kurata, who did most of the talking for the trio. I didn't know what was possible. During the opening ceremonies, when Read or Die came up on screen, and there was a big applause. I was very relieved. Masunari added that he didn't know Read or Die was a cult favorite until he was invited to attend the convention. Yomiko Reedman, the bibliophile substitute teacher hero of the 3-episode series, wears glasses that look like Kurata's, but he says that's just a coincidence. Besides, eyeglasses are hard to animate. What isn't a coincidence is Yomiko isn't a stereotypical action hero. Kurata explained that because I like books, I wanted a character that liked books and moves around in books. Most live action characters are physically fit, and I thought I wanted something different. When you think about something like that, a library comes to mind, and a librarian makes perfect sense. Yomiko is my ideal woman. Is there someone like her around here? Yes, there were Readman cosplayers at Anime Expo, and we know at least one cosplaying librarian. Yomiko's deceptively prim and bookish look came from Ishihama, who said the director gave me a lot of things to do. We were most concerned with making these characters move. We wanted to make it fun for the people who are animating these characters. And director Masunari added, Yomiko isn't very athletic, but we wanted to make this into an action film. Reader Die's action comes from Yomiko's ability to manipulate pieces of paper and her battles against historic figures who have been genetically resurrected. While you'd expect a bookworm to deal with the people from history in the book she tends, as the creators of Reader Die weren't able to use every name from history they wanted to use. Permission was denied to turn Thomas Edison and the Wright brothers into bad guys. So there will be a few new villains if a second Reader Die series is made, which seems to be a possibility. Hey Ferris One, thank you so much for the birthday wishes. I really appreciate it. Yeah, Yomiko is the best every person hero. Yeah, Yomiko still is one of my favorites to this day. Like, I just need to just like find like just pieces of like stuff from Amazon, so I can cosplay as her again because she was a lot of fun to cosplay as, and also a very cozy cosplay to wear. All right, let's take a look at the mini masquerade and J-Rock event. All right, looks like we got people playing instruments. Like a final. Oh yeah, I forgot which college this was, but they had like a Final Fantasy like orchestra type thing. All right, so mini masquerade, just for context, was a short-lived type thing at Anime Expo, and basically it was a non-competitive like cosplay show. You would just like walk on, just do your thing, kind of walk the runway. I forgot whether it looks like they did allow for skits, but it was a non-competitive cosplay show where you can just kind of like just go on stage and do whatever. Got Angelic Lair. I kind of miss the days when you would see like a lot of like Clamp cosplays, you know? Got Iori from Street Fighter. Oh, I love the fact that this guy like just went all out to shave his head. Because this guy used to be my Jigen cosplayer back when I had a Lupin gang type thing. I think this is one of my buddies as Jinrei. Scrolling down here. We got Lulu. Oh my god, is that like a mini Monique group? That is adorable. Yeah, quite a bit of Lolitas, quite a bit of Angel Sanctuary, some Visual K, Mana. Yeah, this is like peak Visual K era. I know these people too. And I also know the Lolita in the background as well. No, this just really brings me back memories of like, hey, I know this person. There was also a really another good website that covered Anime Expo '02, Rising Sun, but unfortunately, that whole site went down. That makes me sad. Yeah, I never could wear like Visual K. Like even though the music wasn't really my thing, but I always been intrigued and by the aesthetics of it all. All right. There are some there are these are some of the many cosplay groups from Friday, including Final Fantasy and Capcom versus SNK. I was at the Capcom versus SNK cosplay meetup. Oh no, we got broken images. So sad. Well, see, it's the cosplay meetups of the time. Oh, looks like we got Oh My Goddess, Team Raijin. You guys look familiar. Oh, these are just like random like groups of cosplayers I see. And Professor Ramsey's vows to wear trip pants. Oh my god, I love this Fushigi Yugi group. So pretty. Got a bebop crew right here. Oh, it's Cowboy Andy. I love me some Cowboy Andy. And then later, like in the episode, he becomes Weeaboo Andy. I know these cats. Got Helsing. I think Crispin Freeman is in that photo, but I'm not too so sure. And we got Final Fantasy. Let's take a look at Final Fantasy. Got a lot of Yuna going on. Yeah, I do have a photo of Kristen Freeman cosplaying his Alucard. I remember he was wearing it Saturday because he wore it to his panel on Saturday. Oh my god, these are just too adorable for words. Yes, I am in this photo. There's my Kyoko. I'm right next to the King cosplayer. Okay, that's about it. I'm glad at least one of the SNK versus Capcom photos survived. Okay, we're gonna see more costumers. I might be in this. Who knows? The Saturday costuming flood started early in the morning. All right, let's take a look here. Again, if anyone is familiar with the series or the costumers, shout them out in the chat. Shout them out in the comments. It's Miss Hinako. Someone wanted me to cosplay as Miss Hinako from like the Rama OAV series. It's a sugar. It's a sugar. Oh, I actually know that Ranma in the middle. Okay, we got Yori in this trip pants. I'm gonna sip my tea as we go through these photos right here, just to hydrate and to heal up my voice because, wow, a lot of words. Okay, I think we're gonna move on forward. Oh wait, we got some more photos here. We have Umi and a Digiko. Pre-tier, that takes me back. Excel. I know this cat. Scrolling through here. Some of my other buddies at the time, I do reference them in my book. I'm sad like some of these photos didn't survive. Because I was just like hanging out at the lobby, just waiting for friends so we can all just go to the brewery for my cotillion. Yeah, it's that Utena cosplayer, Rams. However, she's dressed up as Nadeshiko Cardcaptor Sakura's mother. I actually know this Cardcaptor Sakura cosplayer. Oh, I love that Nadia. Got Tomohome. Oh my god, Battle Royale. Sweet. Miyu and Larva. Eternal Sailor Moon. Got Seiya. And we got my buddy Ace in the background. Nice. Yeah. He's got like the yeah shades. This is actually my next Cardcaptor Sakura class. I really want to do the cat outfit. It's almost done. I just had to like find a day to buckle down and sew. Alright. Do we have any photos for the next couple pages? Yes, no, maybe so. Okay, let's move on to the next thing here. Okay, we're gonna look at the Saturday afternoon costumers. Okay, Doremi. Oh, that bag she's holding is so Y2K. Okay, Curly's right here. Got some Final Fantasy creatures. Let's see, Rams in chat. As that image popped up, I was doing my stuff on my end and had to type Seiya as well. You can surmise what it was. Like Danmei over here before it was Danmei. Hey, looks like images are broken from this point forward. So sad. Again, a lot of these costumer photos, cosplay photos are archived on ACP. So if you're curious to see like all the cosplay photos that were rescued, they're all on there. All right, let's talk to Masquerade. Anime Expo had an energetic and elegant masquerade. Here's part of the entrance. Okay, let's just take a look here. Oh yeah, I've always loved this rendition of Utena. The pink Hamilton style outfit. That's like one of my dream cosplays. Utena Hamilton. Utena. Not gonna give him. Now I want to do like this Utena musical. a look here. Oh, looks like it's a par group. That's awesome. Scroll through here. This is like a Final Fantasy group that did a Thriller dance. I do remember this group. Oh, I love this Gundam Wing group. They were like taking the song from Singing in the Rain, and the song like Every Night I Think of You. That was really cute. And I do love the epaulets. I love how Misawa here is giving like like Beyonce energy because like the hair. It's like, yeah, I got my Beyonce fan. Scrolling through. Yeah, he took a lot of photos of Masquerade, and a lot of the Masquerade photos really survived. Oh, we got Oh My Goddess. I might know some of these people here. These are looks like they're the battle outfits from the movie. It's been a hot minute since I've seen the movie. I know you can watch the Expo O2 Masquerade on YouTube because I know it's been archived on there. I know this demand cosplayer. They played a hippie in my one of my radio plays. Yeah, Vampire Hunter D. Vogue Air Madonna. Yeah, I like that it's been spared. Oh, that's a really good D cosplayer. Have Carmella. It's just so impressive. Just scrolling through. Again, if you know any of these fandoms, any of these cosplayers, shout them out in the chat. Shout them out in the comments. Yeah, Kevin got a lot of really good shots of the Vampire Hunter D group. Yeah, this is how it was done back in the day. Hoshi. Oh, Cabot. Don't you just want to hug the Cabot? Alucard. I remember when the Hellsing, when the first series came out, like, I thought it was alright. Um, but I really like the OAV so much more. Ah, Saber Marionette. Okay, looks like we got some. I'm assuming this might have been an Iron Chef esque skit. Yes, I do remember this. Going through here. Oh yeah, we got the Escaflowne skit. And that's not Geki. I'm sorry to inform you. Got Chi from Chobits. Oh, this is the Jet Set Into the Radio Future skit that ended the masquerade. I knew someone who was part of that skit. Okay, and here are the rest of the masquerade stage performances. Oh, okay, so we get like the ramen and rice performing on stage. And we also got the Final Fantasy like orchestra here. Yeah, I remember them performing. There's Gundam Epion. Oh, you got the musical versions of the Sailor Asteroids. Oh, this was rapping Gundam. He once invited me to a Thanksgiving party. Here's a UA. Oh, we also got some Card Capture Sakura cards. That's awesome. Oh, I got X19. No, wait. No, wait, that's not X1999. Someone attempted to do like an anime boy band, and there was like, I think it was like from Macross 7, and the mecha just fell apart on stage. It was not, I think it was like not intentional. So they just started beating it up to the music. I think that was like my favorite skit of the night. Jinro. I just remembered like they just left the stage with the song from the Wizard of Oz, like oh we oh. Okay, looks like photos are starting not to load here. All right, let's continue on with Saturday, where we can find out who won. All right, Best in Show obviously went to the Vampire Hunter D group. Like even just like looking at the details with the kind of technology we have for photography, it's like, hey, it's pretty sweet. All right, Judge's presentation went to the Fruits Basket group, and also to the Escalfone group and Alucard. Aw, I really like that Gundam Wing skit with Noin and Relina. Best of Show construction went to, yes, this is a really good 10 skit. Okay, this boomer is pretty awesome. Let's see, honorable mention. And yeah, this boomer here, this is all made from Tupperware. Honorable mention, costume construction. I'm not too familiar with the series, but if you know what it is, just shout it out in the comments, shout it out in the chat. I assume that's Shiva from Final Fantasy. And we got Yojimbo. And a special award went to the Tin Yonko. Alright, Maria Kawamura was a delightful guest at the convention. Alright. Had actor Maria Kawamura not met one of the anime industry legendary's creators, she might have become a dancer instead. As Kawamura told a story at Anime Expo, she was working for a Japanese animation magazine and was assigned to interview animator and Gundam creator Yoshiyuki Tomino. I had a very enjoyable interview with him, and then I got a message to call Sunrise, the animation studio where Gundam was produced, about the interview. I thought, what will I do? And I was very scared to call, but I called him. He said, "That's the voice. I was looking for you. Will you come to the audition?" That was the audition for a part in the Aura Battler Dunbine, which led to Kawamura's first role and started her acting career. So, it was Yoshiyuki Tomino who discovered Maria Kawamura. I love it. Kawamura is best known for the original voice of Naga the White Serpent in Slayers, but she's done far more. Japanese voice actors can make a living by dubbing voices in US shows, and Kawamura has many of those roles. Among them is Tanya in American Tail, Fievel Goes West, Moki in Fraggle Rock. Now I play mostly roles like Naga. Either I'm a nice girl or someone loud like Naga. For a girl's role, it's not human, it's like a machine. For something like Naga, it's a queen's role, laughing out loud, very haughty. When Kawamura sang at a concert at Katsucon, she got a big surprise when a Naga costumer suddenly joined her on stage. Kawamura recalled her first thoughts on stage were, "That's the real Naga." When she came up, I was singing the theme song for Naga. When I turned around and I almost forgot the song, when she danced with me, it was fun. As for Kawamura, fate had she not become an actor, she said she was interested in flamenco dancing at the time and might have taken up dancing had not fate intervened. Alright, fans were given a glimpse inside the world of Dot Hack Sign. So before Sword Art Online, there was this. The title Dot Hack Sign signals those familiar with the internet that this anime series is going to tell a story about descent into a virtual world. Unlike shows with similar ideas such as Digimon, Tron, and Serial Experiments Lane, Dot Hack looks at both sides of the virtual divide with a two series and video game, all designed by the same time. Koichi Mashimo, director of Dot Hack, said the OAV and television series were aimed at teens and young adults, not the children that Digimon tries to capture. While the other series clearly defines its villains and heroes, Dot Hack is much more subtle in its approach, resembling the real world use and misuse of the internet. Taking from the inspiration old CompuServe CB simulator of the 1980s, the 21st century world of the internet relay chat lets people converse from all over the world. People who never can be sure who is on the other end of the conversation. On the internet, there are a lot of nice people and malicious people. You can't tell who's who, said Mashimo. He extends that uncertainty in Dot Hack to encompass all a real world and a video game world that connected virtual players who are uncertain of the true nature of their opponents. Mashimo uses the work mask to define the identity that a person wears depending on their role, but it seems that part of the idea may be rooted in the old Japanese way of having public and private personalities. It's not an easy story to understand, admits the director, noting that he chose a screenwriter with a reputation of complex scripts. The complexity is one of the reasons that Dot Hack appears designed for audiences older than juveniles. Part of the complexity is in the words used. In the dialogue, all of the characters use big, difficult words, said Mashimo. Words are difficult even to native Japanese speakers, but those are all deceptions. You're not to be fooled by that. It's up to the audience to decide who the true hackers are. Join the real world of Saturday's cosplay groups. Okay, so what groups can we find here on Saturday? Okay, just scrolling through. Oh, we got Angelic Lair. I love it. Yeah, it's got Utana. Got some random folks just hang out in the lobby. It's like, I think I know what this is, so I'm not sure. It definitely is giving me some Danmei vibes. I like. And of course, there's Angel Sanctuary. I really tried to get into it. I really did, but I just couldn't. Oh my god, I love it. This is the City of Hope, the 501st cosplayers. They're usually here during time of AX to just kind of like just help out with charity. I know we had like a lot of confused folks like, why are Star Wars cosplayers doing here? Don't they have their own con? Oh my god, we got Hamtaro. That's amazing. And of course, we got Vampire Hunter D. All right, last day Saturday. And we are clocking in at 1 hour and 15 minutes. All right, Experience Anime Expo Sunday Costumers. We're about to wind things down here. What did I wear on on Sunday? Oh, I wore my Princess Mars. So let's see if my Princess Mars shows up. We got Danabiki, we got Ginray. Cabot crossing the street. Ah, oh, Cat's Eye, that takes me back. You also got Moring Musume. We got my buddy cosplaying as Eternal Uranus. Ah, more love for Cabots. Got Sakura Tyson. I would join in with the Sakura Tyson hype the following year as Orihime Soletta. And for like a while, I was known as like Orihime Soletta. Oh my god, Ayumi Hamasaki. That is amazing. I know which song this is too. It's Surreal. No, the song is called Surreal. Da, 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 da. Ah, Tomo-kun. Is that Man Fan in the background? Yes, it is. We have Mana. Not to be confused for the group from Mexico. Okay, just scrolling through. Looks like we got a bit of Sayuki cosplayers. It's like finding a cryptic. I do know I have the original saved on my external drive. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. Next page. Got a Xeon type there. Okay, more sleigh costumers. Here you got Digiko, got some Digicart love going on. Got Trunks. Got Yui. Tinyanko. Digiko. Vivi. Nice. Okay, that's about it. It's funny that Trunk looks more like how he looks like in Dragon Ball Super. Alright. Look into the world of anime character design. I know exactly which panel room this is in. Character designers have a big impact on the look of the anime series, and they draw plenty of attention at North American conventions. At a panel discussion on Anime Expo's final day were character designers Hidenori Matsubara, who worked on the Sakura, Tyson, and Oh My Goddess characters, Masashi Ishihama, who created the Read or Die characters, and Toshiharu Murata, who drew Hellsing's characters. While American fans might see big differences in the way characters are drawn, Murata sees few differences between US and Japanese character design. The differences is in animation styles, Murata said. Characters in anime are designed to move properly within the limited animation style. Many anime series are adapted from manga originals. The rules are slightly different if you're adapting an existing manga work at Murata. If you're creating a new design, you can do what you want within the production within what the producer and director let you do. If you're adapting an existing work, you have to stay true to the spirit of the original. Matsubara said, I hate it when the anime version looks different from the manga version. I work my design so the anime version doesn't look like a fake version of the manga version. When a fan asks what to avoid in character design, Ishihama answered, personally, I have no rules. I will design what I have in mind, and what it is rejected will be redone. So, how do you get a character designer's job? An anime character designer needs to establish himself. Through his work in various styles, Matsubara said, he needs to be able to show that he can deliver the goods he'll be offered the job. You'll need to brush up on your daily drawing skill. Animation is 2D, but you need to be able to draw 3D objects, said Ishihama. You need to become a noteworthy animator, so you'll be trusted with the responsibility of the job. And Murata recommended that the artist learn to work with a lot of different styles. Here are the expertise of anime directors. If you believe the auteur theory of filmmaking, you'll be following if you'll be a big follower of anime directors. These artists who supervise films, large and small, have a major impact over the look and feel of a project. They are part of the industry-wide fraternity of people who have worked for each other, sometimes the leader, sometimes the underling. Directors Hiroaki Goda, Oh My Goddess, Koji Masunari, Read or Die, and Koichi Mashimo, Hack Sign, treated fans to insights about the work and a peek at the relationships that make the industry work. Going out to drink is a shortcut to becoming a good director, said Masunari, in what may have been a joke that responded to a character designer's joke comment about anime directors who spend all night bars and don't want to go home when the taverns close. One of the quirks about the directors panel was that it came after the character designers panel. A couple of directors had made jokes about directors at the first event, and the character designers hung around to harass directors. And there was a lot of joking during the panel. After Goda spoke of pressuring animators to finish their work, Masanari said apparently Goda employs a style of yelling at the animators, but I'm the type who flatters them to get them to work. Mashimo immediately said, I'm the director who gets yelled by his animators, but there was also serious questions about director's art and serious answers. Asked about the difference between live action and anime direction, Mashimo said a live action director would go on location for shooting, while an anime director would be working in the studio all the time. It's always an uphill battle for wits for the director to get a story told. Anime films start with a script, which reduced to a storyboard, a series of sketches which show the layout of scenes and is the final stage before any animation begins. When asked if what has changed from script and storyboard, Goda said, the biggest change would happen between screenplay and the storyboard. Sometimes there is a 10% change or a 70% change of the script may be changed when the storyboard is drawn. Added Masanari, I tend to be intimately involved in the creation of the screenplay. There's not much change at the storyboard stage in my works. When I'm a technical director working off storyboard, there's a good chance there will be drastic changes. I tend not to be a good character artist, so there may be drastic changes, but the spirit of work remains the same. Mashima concluded that it's a very simple answer for me. I have always changed other people's scripts. I never changed the script I wrote myself. Joke Goda. He's revealing very valuable trade secrets. Okay, we're going to go to the very end. This is going to be Kevin's final thoughts on Anime Expo 2002. The author had a lot of notes from the Southern California event. Notes uploaded while listening to one side of a lover's quarrel on the next payphone over. So, what was for Anime Expo in 2002? It was a year that fan power was shown in the dealer's room by the extravagant displays. Half a dozen companies erected huge booths in the big room, and most of these booths were to promote products they planned to retail rather than to sell things. It's probably safe to assume that those booths showed the companies decided that fans at Anime Expo likely were cutting edge fans who are worth the time and expense to influence their purchases. The big complaint will come from those who hope to see the music video contest. Waited a long time and were told that the contest was postponed. That's the first time in the years of this site that one of those contests among the most popular at conventions had been all but called off. It turned out that a high-tech attempt to compile the entrants didn't work, and the problem wasn't discovered until it was too late. The convention profusely apologized for the problem. Other complaints will come in the organization of the event, which seemed to slip from another notch from the previous year. Still, too much confusion and too many events which started late. One move by convention organizers was understandable and necessary. Anime Expo had block-long lines for the exhibit hall. Most fans would call it a dealer's room all weekend. We were told that the fire marshals were watching the room, and these eyes spotted a quintet of Long Beach firefighters strolling the convention center's concourse on Friday after the exhibit hall reached its capacity. It was one excuse me. It was one person for each person out for the rest of the day. Some people said the dealer's room looked smaller in 2002 than in 2001. Others speculated there was a little change in attendance from one year to the next. The convention got lucky on weather. Mild temperatures welcomed the fans rather than the searing heat that raged through the nation on the Independence Day holiday. The convention's weekend's coverage on the site might seem as the ultimate triumph of cosplay to the exclusion of everything else at a convention. That might be right. There were nearly 400 cosplay picture posted on the site from Anime Expo's first day alone, more than the entire conventions attended by this site. Excuse me. However, some of the convention's guests of honor made it known in advance that they did not want to be photographed. This site tells its stories with pictures and words, and to fulfill those guests' wishes, the site put more effort towards the guests who had no objections to pictures being taken and towards costumers. Okay, let me just see this. Oh yeah, I'm in this photo here. I'm like, yeah, you can see my black hair in the photo. The hot free items at the 2002 convention were the sample issues of Raijin Comics and U-Type and the Tokyo Pop bags. Raijin, the promised weekly translated manga, which had been announced a month earlier at Project Acon, was distributed to all convention fans in the registration packets. U-Type, the English language version of the Japanese monthly, was given out at an ADV Vision booth at the Convention Center lobby. They handed out thousands of copies on Thursday alone, and the huge Tokyo Pop bags, part of the promotion of the initial D release, had fans going a quarter mile out of their way to find the booth and the freebies. One giveaway story from the convention carries, at the least, a taste of irony. On Friday, a crowd of fans in the exhibit hall chanted ADV, ADV, when t-shirts were tossed from the top level of the big AD Vision and Suncoast Motion Picture Company booth. 2 days later, fans in the Terrace booth booed when ADV announced that as a nominee for the U.S. Sub and Dub Company award handed out by the Society for the Promotion of Japanese Animation. Despite the boos, ADV still won the award. One wonders if any people booing in the Terrace Theater on Sunday were among the crowd chanting for t-shirts on Friday. As for the rest of the awards, the author asked the Anime Expo staff where he could get a copy of the awards list on Sunday, a short time after the awards were announced. No one knew. During the closing ceremonies, SPJA officials confirmed two long-standing rumors. They will move back to the Anaheim Convention Center in 2003, no date was mentioned, and hold an Anime Expo Japan in 2004, although the date and location weren't announced. The Japanese event is going to be a double challenge, beginning with the organizing event 5,000 miles from the Society's California base. There were the coastals to Newcastle in question. There were no North American-style anime conventions in Japan, although there have been sci-fi as Daikon. Anime conventions draw crowds in North America because they offer a dynamic blend of the familiar and the exotic. What will work in Japan? The July 4th shooting at the Los Angeles International Airport's International Arrivals Terminal happened in the first few hours of Anime Expo. Despite the attention the shooting drew on television, attention that was increased by the rumors and predictions of terrorist attacks, the shooting had little impact on the anime convention. A late arriving guest of honor said he was held up at the airport for 3 hours, and that's about it. Otherwise, no one at the convention center seemed to be concerned with the shooting. This was exactly the same reaction in 1999 when John F. Kennedy Jr.'s plane crashed on the Anime Expo weekend. The crash was an obsession for television newscasters, but no one at the anime convention paid any attention. Whether that was a display of convention fans' separation from reality or their intent of having a good time will be up for the reader to decide. Although the end of the author's Sunday night shuttle van trip to the airport, traffic suddenly slowed to a crawl. "I've never seen it this bad," said the van driver. The reason was clear that when a sign loomed into view, Thomas Bradley Terminal International Arrivals. Police were restricting traffic past the terminal where the shootout had taken place, explaining the slowdown, but there were still crowds of people at the terminal's entrance late Sunday night, and a glance at the terminal showed no immediate sign of what happened a few days earlier. The author got out of the van. The distance from the domestic terminal for the author's flight to the place where the shooting took place was less than the distance from the author's hotel to the theater where Anime Expo's costume contest had been held. And that's it for Anime Expo 2002. Thank you so much for joining us for our Anime Expo 2002 birthday subathon. We're glad to have you here. If this is your first time checking out Fansview Fridays, we do this every Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, where we choose an old convention report written by the legendary Kevin Lillard, and we'll go back through time as we archive Kevin's reports, because this is a part of anime history that we do not want to get lost through time. Thank you so much for joining me at the Wisteria Cottage. Definitely check out my book, The Fangirl Diaries, because if you love this era, if you're fascinated by this area, or if you're feeling nostalgic, I highly recommend the book, The Fangirl Diaries. Check it out soon. And then, again, thank you so much for checking us out, and we'll see you next week on Fansview Fridays. And also check us out at the end of the month at KinYobiCon, where we will be a guest of honor and we'll be talking about Sailor Moon. All right. Thank you so much, and remember to like and subscribe. Tell your friends all about Fansview Friday, and we'll see you at the next convention.